23-year-old man has died after being stabbed in a nightclub.
Late Friday night, London. The kind of venue that fills up before midnight and doesn't slow down until 4 in the morning. Bass running through the floors, cash going over bars in volumes no till roll is properly accounting for, and staff who, if you ask the right questions of the right people, are not entirely sure what their legal right to be in this country actually is. Border Force and Met Police officers holding perimeter. Immigration enforcement teams moving through the staff entrance. The music keeps going for exactly 3 minutes before someone realizes what is happening and cuts it. 140 people processed through a cordoned area before the night is over. Documents checked, accounts taken, and in the middle of it all, 22 individuals with no legal right to work in Britain, employed behind a bar, in a kitchen, on the door, in the back of house, pulling wages in cash that will never appear on a payslip, never generate a national insurance contribution, and never be declared to HMRC. Some of them came here on small boats. Some came through other routes. All of them ended up in the same place, working illegally inside a venue that, from the outside, looks like any other entertainment business operating on a London high street. This is not a rare event. It is not even unusual. It is the pattern that Border Force and immigration enforcement teams are now hitting at the highest volume in the history of British law enforcement. And nobody is explaining what is actually driving it, what it costs, and what the connection is between a Friday night raid on a nightclub and the 41,000 people who crossed the English Channel in small boats last year. That is why British Front Media exists. Subscribe now. Because what follows is the complete picture. Reason number 1. Immigration enforcement raids have hit the highest level in British history. Over 17,400 operations in 18 months, and London is the single biggest battleground. These are not projections. These are the Home Office's own published figures. Between July 2024 and the end of December 2025, immigration enforcement teams carried out more than 17,400 raids on businesses across every region of the UK, a 77% increase compared to the previous 18-month period. Those operations produced more than 12,300 arrests for suspected illegal working, an 83% rise. The £5 million funding boost provided to immigration enforcement last year specifically to expand this activity is already visible in the numbers. And London is where the scale is sharpest. In London alone, over 2,100 arrests were made in 2025, a 47% rise compared to 2024. Every arrest represents a person working without legal permission, an employer who either knew or failed to check, and a cash-based economy operating in parallel to the legitimate one, undercutting honest businesses, evading tax, and creating the conditions under which exploitation thrives. Reason number 2. The nightlife and hospitality sector is an ideal environment for illegal working, and enforcement is now explicitly targeting it alongside high street businesses. Bars, clubs, and entertainment venues share the same structural vulnerability as every other cash-intensive sector that immigration enforcement has been sweeping through. High staff turnover, informal cash-in-hand payment arrangements and business models where checking someone's right to work is inconvenient and rarely policed. The Met's November 2025 operation, which targeted 30 venues across London, including in Brixton, Newham, Hackney and Croydon, brought immigration enforcement officers to 13 of those venues simultaneously, confirming that the enforcement architecture is now explicitly deployed across the full spectrum of cash-intensive premises, not just traditional high street targets. At 7 of those same venues, the Met's modern slavery team attended specifically on intelligence that workers had been trafficked into the country against their will and forced to work under conditions they had not consented to. The illegal worker behind a bar and the trafficked worker hidden in a back kitchen are not always different categories. In the most serious cases, they are the same person, brought here by an organised smuggling network and placed into a venue by the same individuals who arranged their crossing. Reason number 3. Illegal working is the government's explicitly stated pull factor for small boat crossings, and 41,000 people crossed the Channel in 2025 alone. This is the connection that rarely gets made in nightclub raid coverage. The Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood has been direct about the rationale behind this enforcement surge. There is, in her words, no place for illegal working in our communities, and the crackdown exists specifically because the promise of cash-in-hand employment in Britain's shadow economy is one of the primary incentives used by people smugglers to sell spaces on small boats crossing the English Channel. Around 41,000 people were detected crossing the Channel in small boats in 2025, the second highest annual figure ever recorded, behind only the 46,000 who crossed in 2022. Each person who made that crossing had, in most cases, been told by a network that there was work available on the other side. Not formal, legal, declared work, informal, cash. In venues exactly like the one that got raided on a Friday night. The smuggler's pitch and the nightclub's payroll are part of the same criminal ecosystem. Reason number 4. Organised criminal groups are now coercing migrants to carry Class A drugs across the Channel. And the nightclub is where some of that product ends up. This is the development that the government has been careful not to headline, but which RAND published analysis on in January 2026. Recent reporting suggests some organised criminal groups are now coercing migrants to carry small quantities of Class A drugs into the UK in exchange for cut-price crossings. The boat crossing is not just a smuggling operation for people. For the most entrepreneurial and brutal criminal networks, it is also a delivery mechanism for product, with the migrant as the unwilling courier, pressured into carrying drugs as the price of a seat on the boat. If accurate, and RAND notes UK authorities have not yet confirmed drugs recovered directly from small boat arrivals, it would signal, in their words, an escalation that would pull those being smuggled directly into the drug trade. And the end destination for that product is not a warehouse. It is a nightclub floor, a bar, a festival crowd. The raid that catches 22 illegal workers is operating in the same physical space where drug supply lines driven by people smuggling networks terminate. Reason number 5. The Organised Immigration Crime Domestic Task Force has logged a 33% surge in smuggling disruptions. But the networks keep adapting faster than the policy response. The enforcement picture is not all one way. The Organised Immigration Crime Domestic Task Force, which brings together the NCA, National Police Chiefs Council, Border Security Command, and Immigration Enforcement, has recorded a 33% surge in smuggling disruptions, with nearly 4,000 disruptions logged since July 2024. 50,000 illegal migrants have been removed from the UK under the current government, a 23% increase. But the Channel crossings are not falling. The average number of people per small boat increased every year, from 7 per boat in 2018 to 63 per boat in the year ending March 2026. The networks are cramming more people onto each vessel because supply of boats and engines is being squeezed, but demand has not dropped. French authorities dismantled 206 criminal smuggling networks in the first 8 months of 2025, but new networks reformed around the disruption. The smuggling supply chain runs from Turkey through Germany and into France, and until storage of nautical equipment in transit countries can be criminalised under German law, the boats will keep arriving. The workers on the other side of the crossing will keep appearing in British venues, legal, illegal, trafficked, or otherwise. Reason number 6. Brixton specifically records drug offences in London's top 10, and Lambeth crime has risen 24% in 3 years, providing the demand environment every illegal working network operates inside. The venue at the centre of this kind of operation doesn't exist in a vacuum. It exists in a community, and the community tells you everything about the demand environment that makes the operation viable. The Brixton Windrush ward, covering the town centre, ranked 10th highest for drug offences in all of London between October 2023 and September 2024. Lambeth as a borough recorded approximately 130 crimes per 1,000 people, 27% above the London average. Crime volumes in Lambeth have risen for 3 consecutive years, from 30,526 offences in 2021 to 37,859 in 2024, a 24% increase. A high-footfall nightlife venue in that environment is not just a business, it is an operational asset. for drug supply networks, for illegal labour placement, and for cash laundering, generating exactly the conditions that make a joint border force and Met Police operation necessary and, increasingly, inevitable. So here is where Britain stands in June 2026. Immigration enforcement raids at their highest level in history, 17,400 in 18 months, 12,300 arrests. London recording 2,100 arrests in 2025 alone, 41,000 channel crossings last year, the second highest annual total ever. A government explicitly arguing that illegal working venues are the engine of the small boat business model. Credible reporting that some crossings are now being used as drug courier operations. Migrant smuggling networks cramming 63 people onto boats built for 7, because demand is not falling and the infrastructure behind it has not been broken. And 22 people found working without legal permission in a venue that, 3 hours earlier, was just another Friday night in London. The Eddie Montgomery, director of the Home Office's Immigration, Compliance and Enforcement teams, put it plainly: "We will continue to bear down on this criminality in our towns, cities and villages to ensure there is no hiding place from immigration laws. The raids are accelerating. The arrests are accumulating. The question is whether the 22 people found working illegally in a nightclub are the end of the story, or the most visible part of a supply chain that started on a beach in northern France and has not been disrupted at all." Subscribe to British Front Media.